for all the people.
Piedmont.
6 family members are dead after fire raced through their home early this morning. It happened in rural Alexander County in the Ellendale community. Reporter Joey Pop joins us now with the very latest on the investigation. Joey?
Cameron, right behind me here, all that's left is a brick shell of a home that was once full of life. Imagine, just 2 days ago, a newborn arrived here. But now, she and 5 family members perished during an early morning fire. A pitiful sight when volunteer firefighters arrived to a fully engulfed house. They realized 6 people were still inside, 2 adults and 4 children.
All the rooms appeared to be filled with flames at that time, so there was really no chance of rescue or anything taking place at that time.
The eldest family member, 40-year-old Deborah Shue, did get out to call for help, but not before she tried to save her 3 children, a son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. Investigators say Deborah jumped out this window after realizing her family members weren't responding and ran over to the neighbor's house for help.
Woke me up and told me the house was on fire, and so I immediately called 911. But she, of course, tried to get back in the house, and I wouldn't let her. There was no way that anybody could do anything at that point.
The children's school took the news very hard in this close-knit community. But it's the bus driver who will remember 7-year-old Junior and 11-year-old Angel's last bus ride.
When I heard this, it flashed through my mind as to the way they looked when they got off the bus, turned around and looked at me and kind of smiled.
Back at the scene, toys of the children laced the yard. And Cameron, as you said, yes, a cause has been determined. We've learned late this afternoon a faulty electrical outlet behind the refrigerator. All 6 family members died from smoke inhalation and carbon monoxide poisoning. Back to you in Winston.
Joey, one question. Do investigators have any idea if there were smoke detectors in this house?
That is a good question. It hasn't been determined. They do believe that, yes, smoke detectors were inside, but if they were working, that's still up in the air. That's a question mark tonight.
Thanks for that report. Joey Pop reporting live from Alexander County.
A family of 6 who saw their home gutted by fire this week isn't giving up. A neighbor took these pictures as flames swept through the home owned by Jerry Ford Sunday night. A kerosene heater sparked the fire, which took about 15 minutes to put out, but the damage was done. $30,000 and many memories worth. Photojournalist Chuck Rakestraw was there today when Ford and a group of friends returned to pick up the pieces and look to the future.
It's right where you are there at that doorway. When I come through, it was coming out of here, coming through. Some things were saved, weren't they? I never been through nothing like this before. Never. I hope and pray I never have to go through this again. I don't know what I would do without good friends. Friends like these here. That's Charles Lindsay. In the cowboy hat, Carl Ely.
Good way to get some exercise and help a good friend out all at the same time. I would hope that if I was in the same type of situation, that I would be able to depend on friends and co-workers to help me out in this type of situation, and I'm always willing.
People all along this street, the community in general. In some special way, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, because I don't know what we would have done that night without them. At first, we were worried about the material things, and then we decided that that wasn't important. What was important was a life that could have been lost in there. There could have been somebody gone. There could have been somebody that passed away, and we live with that memory. I just thank God we don't have to live with a memory like that, that I'm able to touch them one more time and say, hey, here we is. Dear God, we here. We for real.
And no one was hurt in that fire. Ford wants to thank everybody for helping his family get through this difficult time.
A fugitive from justice is behind bars tonight thanks to a Newswatch 12 viewer.
A Crime Stoppers tip helped police catch Roderick Whitmore. He is wanted for the attempted murder of a Mount Airy woman. Ben Salt spent the day in Surrey County. He's back in our newsroom with the latest.
Well, Kathy, Roderick Whitmore eluded lawmen for more than a month. They thought he might be hiding out in Winston-Salem, but in fact, he was staying with some friends in a house in Mount Airy. Tonight, he's staying in a jail cell in Dobson. 25-year-old Roderick Whitmore was led in handcuffs this afternoon to the Surrey County Jail. His holiday from justice at an end.
He should be considered armed and dangerous.
Newswatch 12 viewers first saw Whitmore last week on our Crime Stoppers report. The woman he's accused of shooting asked for help. Willette Payne says she's lived in fear since May when Whitmore shot her. Payne's life was miraculously saved when a bobby pin deflected the bullet.
He needs to be in jail, and my son is scared to death. Who knows, he may come back and bust the door down and shoot me and my son.
Someone watched Cameron Kent's report and called Crime Stoppers with information. Yesterday afternoon, lawmen chased a car on US 52 south of Mount Airy. Whitmore wasn't inside the car, but two of his friends were. Paul Motley, the man on Whitmore's left, and Tim Leake, the man with the cigarette. He's a former Mount Airy basketball star. The men had been living in this house on Worth Street in Mount Airy. That's where police found Rod Whitmore last night. Now Whitmore is in jail. Authorities say his capture shows what a valuable asset Crime Stoppers can be.
We cannot function in law enforcement without the public involved. We need their help considerably. Somebody sees something and is familiar with the problems that we have, and they most of the time know about it, so it's very beneficial to have these information from the public.
Whitmore is in jail under an $850,000 bond. He's accused of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, plus possession and sale of cocaine. His two friends, Tim Leake and Paul Motley, also face drug charges.
Ben, I bet the woman that Whitmore shot is relieved he's behind bars.
That's the truth. I spoke with Willette Payne on the phone this afternoon. She's extremely relieved. She's surprised the Crime Stoppers report got such quick results. Back to you.
Good. Glad we could help someone. Thanks, Ben, for that report.
Once a month, our Crime Stoppers report focuses on 5 of the most wanted fugitives in Winston-Salem. And tonight, one more of them is in custody. Edward Donnell Hickman turned himself in to police and U.S. Marshals today. He was wanted for a parole violation on charges of robbery, arson, assault with a deadly weapon, and breaking and entering. Hickman was living in Ohio. Local relatives here saw him on our Crime Stoppers report and told him he was wanted in Winston-Salem. Police say Hickman is trying to turn his life around and wanted to come back to answer the charges against him. To follow up a story from last week, late this afternoon, police arrested Alfonso Bennett and charged him with the murder of Miles Van Horn. It happened in the West End neighborhood of Winston-Salem. Police found Van Horn's body in his apartment. He'd been stabbed in the back. Bennett is being held in the Forsyth County Detention Center without bond. One trucker is dead, but another was able to walk away from a crash near Stokesdale today. The driver of the double tractor trailer was carrying hazardous materials on Highway 158 early this morning when he lost control. Officers say the driver swerved across the yellow line and slammed into an oncoming truck, causing an explosion.
The trailer was on fire and was smoldering, and the hazardous materials team responded because we did have some hazardous materials involved, and we had to evacuate the residents here for about 3 hours or so.
The driver of the double tractor trailer wasn't hurt, but the trucker he crashed into, Franco Jackson of Chicago, was killed.
A Washington watchdog group says House freshmen, including Richard Burr, aren't keeping their word to steer clear of special interest. Common Cause reports 40% of last year's campaign contributions for all freshman congressmen came from political action committees. 5th District Congressman Richard Burr collected more than $300,000 last year. A third of it was PAC money. Burr's biggest PAC supporters include the National Automobile Dealers Association and RJR Nabisco. They're young men on a mission to win a gold medal.
Absolutely. The Forsyth County Special Olympics basketball team took off this afternoon for a tournament in Fayetteville.
We're number 1! Yeah! Yeah! Number 1! Yeah! Come up this way! Round it up, Carl. Yeah! The signs say we're going to go for the goal.
Last year, the team won the bronze medal at that tournament. Good luck to all of our Special Olympians.
Right. Still to come on Newswatch 12, believe it or not, if you stop dieting, you can lose weight. And we'll show you how.
And a 4-legged Royal Brigade is marching its way to Winston-Salem this weekend, and it's filled with twists and turns. But first, Chris Runge is down at the Triad Home and Garden Show.
He's got a preview of your weekend forecast. Chris?
That's right, Kathy and Cameron. The Benton Convention Center has literally been transformed into a homeowner's paradise. We'll talk about that and do a little weather, too, as Newswatch 12 at 6 continues.
You're watching Newswatch 12 at 6 with Cameron Kent. Kathy Murphy, Chris Runge with weather, and Dan Rath with sports. This is Newswatch 12 at 6.